Leslie Lane Peabody here with Ninjas in High Heels. Great to have you here again on our Saturday Sanctuary. Today we're going to talk to you about how to be the authority in your niche. Remember, we've been talking about those 8 easy steps, and today we're going to talk about step 8 and how to blog and market your blog. And on that subject, I have my great friend Don the Book Kahuna here because he is the blogging king. And he can market about it, and he'll be telling you all about his marketing and his success in blogging. Hey, Don, say hello.
Hello, Leslie. How are you today? Happy Saturday.
Thanks. Happy Saturday back at you.
Well, to start off about blogging, first thing, you have to like to write a little bit. Now, that's not something that everyone has in their tool bag, that they really enjoy writing, but the more that you do it, the more involved you'll get in what you're typing or dictating, and as you see the words that you're putting out there and the blog posts that you're doing and see that people are actually viewing what you have to say, it actually builds on itself. Now, I started blogging just as kind of a class project in my master's program like 3 years ago. We were in a marketing class, and people were saying, yeah, I started a blog, but I don't really do anything with it. And I said, you know, this could be an opportunity to really put together something different and start to brand myself. And that was kind of the nexus of the Book Kahuna. I said, you know, there's a lot of information that, number one, authors are going to want, new authors, self-publishers and independent publishers. But also, the other target that I'm looking to get people excited about are new people in publishing that, because of revenue constraints in companies, they don't really have the mentors anymore. You know, the older middle managers, the sage reference people who can tell them, you know, what's happening and how to get ahead to the next level. And I said, you know, that's missing from that's the part that's missing from publishing these days. The newbies really need somebody that can tell them, hey, you know, here's what you should do to get from point A to point B and make your move to the corner office. And that was kind of what the whole Book Kahuna message was all about. Using social media to get the word out, helping authors so that they don't get fleeced by a lot of coaches, per se, that are out there, who are really, there are a lot of coaches out there who are actually just corporations. You know, it's like, hey, come and do your book with me. I'm a coach. I'm a shepherd. I'm this. I'm that. And there's like 25 different people behind them, and you never know if you're getting like the actual great price to get your book done. And that's not good for people who don't know anything about publishing whatsoever. So it was all about helping people in different aspects of the publishing arena, and blogging was a natural for me. I always loved to write. I had a college professor when I was at SUNY Potsdam who was very prestigious in English Lit, and he actually did a lot of work with Noam Chomsky on word, the origins of words, and he kept telling me, you should go into creative writing. You really should go into creative writing. And at the time, you know, I was like a 22-year-old kid, and I just enjoyed writing and putting together papers, and, you know, I was coming up with all these ideas, and I had a history background, so, you know, I was always in Shakespeare classes and taking like Macbeth and like putting it into how some ruler in the 20th century was like Macbeth, and, you know, all these kind of things. And he said, your style is very, you're not wordy, you're succinct, you say what you mean. And what I've come to learn is, and it's kind of interesting because recently people have told me that I'm starting to look like him, is that my writing style kind of mirrors, and I wouldn't even say this, in deference, like a little bit like Hemingway. I kind of write like Ernest Hemingway, just boom, boom, boom. Here's what it is. Here's how it goes. And just recently, somebody told me that with the beard, I'm starting to look like Hemingway. So if you're going to be working in publishing in a literary sense, looking like Ernest Hemingway is not really a bad thing, So it'll help.
So
So
that's what we're going to call you, the Book Kahuna, the modern day Hemingway.
hey, we can market it as that, sure.
Awesome. That's awesome. But you said something that I want to get back to, right? You've been blogging for about 3 years.
Yes, I have.
How often do you blog, Don?
It varies. I've tried to do something, either a video or a blog, and actually I'm going to try and do like 3 or 4 this weekend, every day if I can. There are spans where it's like 3 or 4 days where I don't do anything, but usually in that span I'm doing something else, like just doing some reference to see what material I should blog on or something else. And a lot of times the blogs are just like, okay, well, I just read this book. Here's a book review. Like I did the one on the Slight Edge. I did a video and I did the blog post, and just did that one. I go on the Digital Book World website all the time, and I find what's happening in digital publishing, and I do something on, hey, Amazon's doing this with publishers and authors, and what does this mean for somebody who's trying to get published, and the whole royalty thing with Amazon right now. So it varies to say like at least 2 or 3 times a week I try to get a blog post done. Hey, by the way, this is Mattingly. He he always comes out whenever the dog is in the crate. He does not like my dog.
I love it.
So whenever the dog is in the crate, Mattingly has to come on my lap because that's the only time he can get some attention. So
I love it. But let's talk. That's a great line, getting attention. So you blog regularly. You're a committed blogger.
Yes, I am.
At least 3 times a week, almost daily, frankly.
Yes.
That has helped grow your reputation. And you have how many followers on LinkedIn? Like 7,000, were you telling me this morning?
It's getting close. Closing in on 6,500.
Right. And you love to write, so blogging
Yes.
is not a tough thing for you. How about for us and not me because I like to write too, but how about for those of us who don't like to write? What is your tip? I think you talked a lot about it in reading. What tips do you have for people who don't like to write and don't have any idea what to blog about?
Find something that you're interested in and just stay with it. If you're whatever your interest is, that's going to be something that you're going to be able to convert to content. If you're interested in knitting, do a lot about knitting. If you're interested in cars, blog about cars. What I find is going to be helpful, and this is like a totally separate issue, but if you can get like a speech-to-text recognition software, like you can use the one that's in the Word Microsoft Suite, but like a Dragon, it's going to be that much easier because basically you're just talking and your words are converting to text. Then you go back in and you proof it. And I find that, number one, if you have a hard time putting together your thoughts on what you want to blog about, being able to just talk about something is going to make it that much easier. And what you can do is you just talk about it for about 5-10 minutes, see what you've got, go through, proof it, check it, and then you can get a blog post done in 15 minutes if you can actually just dictate like what you want. And I think that's one of the things that will help in blogging is the time factor, because if you have to sit there and type for an hour and a half, whereas you can just talk for 15 minutes, a lot of people are going to be more inclined to do it that way and get their words out. And like I said, you have to find something that you're passionate about. If you can find something that you're passionate about and something that's going to convert to other people have a passion for it too, they're going to want to read what you have to say. Did you have a good example? And if no one's seen it, it was a great movie. Julie and Julia was all about blogging.
I
And
finally saw that the other day, actually.
and you know what? That was like to one of the catalysts for me to start because I saw that movie and I was like, yeah, what like why not? She did like every one of Julia Child's recipes like one a day and then wrote about it. Okay,
Right.
find something that you love and just write about it and you will find an audience.
And I think that's a big tip because one of the guys that I follow, his name is George Anthony Michaels. Um, he talks about, I don't care if you're ugly. I don't
Mhm.
care what you talk about. Whatever you are, there's 100 or 1,000 people out there who want to hear what you have to say because they're just like you, right?
Right.
So find what you love and then blog about it every day. Now, you just gave us a gem of information, and I want to make sure that everybody heard that. You talked about how to video blog and blog at the exact same time with that recognition software.
Right. You can do both.
Do both at the exact same time. If so, I have a Mac. I don't think you have a Mac, right, Don? You're on the
No, I'm still in the dark ages.
okay. But it doesn't matter because if you have a Mac, you have an automatic software that does that voice recognition, right? If you don't have a Mac, you have that Dragon software that Don was talking about. But if you just get on and you start a hangout like this, start a hangout, do that recognition software, talk to your best friend at the other on the other side of this camera, tell them about your knitting, tell them about your dog, tell them about whatever for 10 minutes or so. If you have that voice recognition software, you have your written blog, you now have your video blog, and all you have to do is market it, then you're almost done. Isn't that a gem of information? That was worth getting up at 7 in the morning to listen to you today, Dawn.
Yes. And you know what? One other thing too is if you think about one thing that you said as well, you know, if you're going to blog about cars or crocheting or knitting, and it's like there are 100 people out there that want to read what this is the time because you can reach more people with a blog and all social media combined than all of the speeches that have ever been given like to audiences in the last 6,000 years with one blog post.
Right, you can have a bigger voice even than the president of
Right.
yesteryear, right? Maybe not the
Exactly.
president today because I think he gets on Hangouts. But that's really cool. But you said something else, right? You talked about consistency. You do it almost every day. So if you're going to blog, if you're going to be committed, you have to be committed. You have to say, I'm going to blog at least 3 times a week. Dawn and I blog almost every day. And I am committed. I just joined something 3 days ago. I am committed to blogging daily because it doesn't take any of my time. It takes 15 minutes to get a video and a written blog up there and another 15 minutes to market. So 30 minutes a day. But that's critically important if you want to have a following, if you want people to go and find you, then you have to be committed and you have to do it daily. And you have to know what message you're going to send. Okay, so you don't just blog one day about crocheting and the next day about the stock market and the fourth day about, I don't know, snow in the Andes. You have to kind of stay with your niche, with your subject matter. And yes, you can have different blogs about different things sometimes, maybe 20% of the time, but most of the time, stay true to yourself. You have to be who you are because those are the people that are going to follow you. So if you're blogging one day about crocheting, the crochet people will follow you. and they want to still hear you talking about crocheting almost every day. You can fit your family in there, that kind of thing. But stock market tips don't really go huge with the crocheting crowd, right?
Unless it's about how the wool stocks are doing.
Maybe, maybe.
And that brings up a good point too, because um, I change it up every once in a while too. I don't always blog about publishing issues. I blog about business issues that are also in any corporate situation, but in publishing as well. I've blogged about um, you know mentors and demons. Okay, the good people that you meet along the way and the bad people that you meet along the way. I've blogged about how to get to the corner office with using sport by playing on extracurricular teams if you work for a big company. And seriously, that was one of the things when I was working for McGraw-Hill, I was playing on the softball team, and our third baseman was working in the executive suite, and Terry McGraw, the McGraw, who is the chairman of, he at the time was not the chairman, but he was making his way up, and he used to ask Josh, "Hey, so who plays on the softball team? What divisions are they from? Who are, and he would ask, "How are we doing?" He was interested in, who the people were who worked for his company, who the people were that were out there, playing softball and like networking. And I mean, there's one guy who played on the softball team who now has his own staffing business where he's a headhunter for publishing. Jack Farrell and Associates. I played softball with Jack like 20 years ago. So you never know when you're blogging what direction you can go in. I've started doing book reviews now. I did Jeff Olson's The Slight Edge. I did Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm currently reading the Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and I'll do a blog post on that and say, this is what I got out of it. This is why I recommend that you might want to read this book. It's something that you can get some kind of nugget out of it that's going to help you along the way in your business, in your blogging, and it's just blogging is actually fun. I find it fun, especially video blogging,
Right.
because video blogging, for me, a lot of people ask me, when you get on and you just see that blue light, like, do you freeze up? No, not anymore. I mean, when I first started doing them, I was kind of like looking at the light, trying to figure out what to say. But after you do it for a while, you just go with whatever you're going to talk about, like you're talking to someone who's in the room with you. And
That's a key, right? Talk to the camera like it's your best friend, like there's somebody on the other end and they have a name.
right, right. Don't just look at it like it's, hey, it's this blue technology, and wow, it's going to capture everything I say, and do I look good, and personally, I don't care what I look like when I'm. It's like
We already
I look at it like this: if people are going to watch my videos to see what I look like, they're not going to follow me anyway. So you know what? It's only the people who want to listen to what I have to say are the ones who are going to stick with it and go through the whole video.
Right. So I want to circle back, though, on your next nugget that you gave, because you drop these nugget bombs on us, and then you move on.
Sorry.
So let's go back to this nugget bomb that you talked about. And you talked about when you blog, first of all, you found blogging easy because you read every day and you pull other things into blogging. But everything you blog about, even when it's blogging about softball, you're blogging, in essence, about the publishing business. So you have
Yes.
a purpose, and your purpose is the publishing business. So if you decided to blog about, and you did blog about, you blogged about the baseball thing or the softball thing, you had a bridge. We call that a bridge. So you take softball, so you can blog about anything you want. You just have to have a bridge. you talk about softball, and then you talk about how softball links to the publishing business, right? You don't just talk about softball and leave it there. You talk about softball and how it links to the publishing business, how it gets you to the corner office or whatever. I think that's what you said, right? The corner office.
Exactly. That's my um, symbol for making it is the corner office, and that's the symbol for all of the new publishing people that I'm trying to affect is that they want to get to the corner office. So it's all through networking. That's what it's all. That was what the whole softball issue was about. Was like networking, and because the people that you're playing softball with, next year they're going to be at another company, or they're going to be executives, or they're going to be, and the relationships that you make with those people are going to be long term down the line because they're going to end up somewhere else and possibly be able to help you later on when you're looking for another opportunity.
Right, it's awesome. So, and while you and I do love to write, and there are a lot of people out there who don't, you just gave some tips. You can blog about anything because you have a bridge. You can blog daily, and it's not so hard because you just speak to the camera with a speech recognition software. You have your blog and your video blog, a vlog, ready for you. And then when you network, you have other people that will help promote you and will help come on your shows or do whatever else you want because you've built your network there at the same time.
Exactly. And the other thing I recommend too is getting into blogging communities where, and you know, I actually haven't done this, and I've had a couple of people ask me, but you can be a guest blogger on someone else's blog,
I just
or
signed up to do
did you
that.
did you do that?
I
Okay,
haven't done it yet. I think my time is in April, but
right?
somebody asked me 3 days ago and I said yes, so I'm going to guest blog for somebody.
And you can get someone to guest blog on your blog. Now, I've got an invitation out there, and it's been accepted by a guy in the publishing industry who's like very well known in New York. He's in the Publishing Hall of Fame. Pretty impressive too, because he's not really an older guy. He's maybe a couple of years older than I am, and his name is Michael Weinstein, and he's had his blog has been mentioned, and blog posts have been on the Huffington Post. And I know this guy from a long time ago. He uh, said that yes, if I'll do a blog post for you. Now I just have to follow up and see if I can get him to do it. But things like that, you can get other people involved, and if you can get an expert, if you're not really like, if you're just starting out and you're not the expert on what you're blogging about, but if you can get an expert other than you to like blog on your blog, it gives you automatic recognition, and you'll get a name in your field because you got this person to actually do a guest blog on your blog as well.
Awesome, and we call that piggybacking, right?
Right.
That was, I think that was tip number 7, is piggyback with someone else. And here's something else you didn't mention. If you get someone else to guest blog for you, or you guest blog for someone else, then you get their following for that point in time, right? You just got introduction to another 1,000 people that have never heard of you before.
And that'll help.
I hope it helps, right? And it's fun because you get to talk to people you've never talked to before. So everything you tell them is new and different. You're like, oh, right? You're somebody they've never seen or heard from before.
Right. And you may have a completely different angle from where you're coming at the information from the person that they're normally reading on the blog, which is always good.
Right, and if you're a brand new blogger and you want other people to guest blog for you, just think of that following you just introduced to your own blog. That's amazing. Now you want to probably keep it in your general industry because you need that bridge or you need to stay in the same industry, but those are the people you want to follow you anyway. So if I'm not a sports fan, I don't really want the sports fans following my ninja in high heels because they're not going to resonate with me and they're not going to be my raving fans in the future, right? But if I get somebody to blog about fashion on my Ninjas in High Heels, then the people who follow me will probably care. Even Hemingway was a fashionista, right?
Yeah, actually, he's known for he was actually a superstar in like the 30s and 40s.
Right. He was amazing. And did he wear like all the men Hawaiian type shirts, or what did he wear?
Um, very like a lot of because he went on a lot of like safaris and things like that. So he was always wearing clothes that were comfortable, but had some kind of work aspect to them. When you were out in the outback or out in the tundra or wherever he was in Africa or whatever, um, it was very like almost military, but very workable clothing.
Isn't that interesting? So, see how you can take whatever you're talking about and bridge it in some way, shape, or form to your audience and to your tribe, and you can bring new people into your tribe, but it's all about the consistency and the ability to do it every day. So, with the group that Don and I are part of, we have 8 core commitments. And one of those core commitments is to blog daily. And the reason they say blog daily is because you grow your tribe that way, you grow your following, and guess what? You also grow your skills. So every day Don's reading a new book. That's another core commitment, right? Don's reading every day, I'm reading every day, and we're learning new things every day, and every day we get just a little bit better at it. So it doesn't matter if you're not very good today, just do it because you get better tomorrow, right, Don? Every day do you feel like you get a little bit better?
I do, and the one thing that in an interview Jerry Seinfeld said if you like comedy, you have to like write bits every day for like a half hour, and if you blog, you have to keep blogging because like everything else, with practice, you will get better as you go along, and that's true. I mean, even somebody I mean, I love to write, and I'm pretty sure that my writing is getting better and better because of the fact that I keep doing this like daily or a couple of times a week.
I know it is.
So
I followed you for what, about a year now, maybe? Probably about a year, and I've seen the growth in you in that period of time that we've known each other. But you just said something that I want to hook on.
another nugget, okay.
Now, this isn't maybe the same kind of nugget, but I had a conversation with my son. You know, I have 3 boys, right? And one of them he's 15. Brett is 15, and he's the one that's most involved in my business with me, right? And that's the great thing I love about the blogging business or whatever business you're in. You can incorporate your family into it, right? So I incorporate my kids into it. And so we were talking about YouTube the other day, right? He's getting ready to start his YouTube channel. And he's not very impressed with me because I don't have a lot of YouTube followers. So he was telling me how I can get more YouTube followers. I need to be more fun. So he wants me to start like a joke of the week channel or something like that. And he's going to help me so that I can have more teenage followers. I said, son, I don't think teenagers resonate with me. He goes, oh, yes, we do, Mom. You know, all the boys hang at your house, so we all love you. You just have to start talking to us, too. It was amazing.
So you're gonna do a joke of the week channel?
Maybe I got to do something. I told him momisms or something. I don't know. They don't think I'm funny, so I must need to work on that because I tell them I'm very funny. So yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? When you get that joke of the week channel up, I will subscribe.
Okay, you're gonna have to be a guest blogger, so you're gonna have to have your guest joke of the week or something.
I always have funny stories.
You
So,
do.
oh, I have some great funny stories. So, yeah.
And that's kind of the cool thing too, because even though I normally blog about business subjects or whatever, I do also blog. I have my main channel is my business channel, my Ninjas in High Heels, but I really love the family and the fun aspects. So like last night, I went out to my Tacky Places social club, and a whole bunch of people. We went out to Clancy's in Wheat Ridge in Denver
How
because
was that? Good
bar. Oh,
fun?
it was awesome. It was awesome. And it was a Friday night, right? It's just a couple days before St. Patrick's Day. And
Right.
it was awesome because you get to have fun and you can still blog about it. And then my bridge about having fun, going out and having fun, is you can build a business on having a good time. It doesn't all have to be about work. So I've built a bridge to this sideline so that when I go out and do something stupid and have some fun, I have that bridge that takes me back to blogging for a business.
And that's like the wacky videos that I did on my cross country journey with the dog, where I was like, take a chance, because just me and my dog drove from Colorado to New York in December, in between snowstorms. We just happened to make it, and then we drove back again in between snowstorms, and it got good weather on the way back. And the whole point behind that was, take a chance, try something different, do something out of your normal realm, and just see if you may find something else that you want to do in life, and you may have fun doing it. And I had a lot of fun on that trip, even though it was just me and the dog. So
Yeah, I'm a road tripping person. So someday, that's kind of what the Tacky Places is. I'm going to take this road trip to all these really tacky places. Like I've been to Carhenge. Have you ever been there
car,
in Nebraska?
Carhenge, is
Carhenge.
that?
It has all
It's
these
like,
cars that are sitting up like this, and they're like all painted gray.
okay,
Yeah, so I like
Stonehenge for cars. Is
wine,
that?
whatever.
Is that? What's the Cadillac Ranch? Have you been there?
No, I'll have to go. Where's that?
I think it's in Texas, where the Cadillacs are sticking up out of the ground. So,
Nice.
what are the other tacky places?
That I've been to? Well, I've been to the world's biggest cow, and that's either in North or South Dakota.
Okay.
And it was so big that my ex-husband, our son was 3 at the time, and I was pregnant with our second son, and he put our 3-year-old son on his shoulders, and our 3-year-old son was holding his hands up and could just touch the udders of the cow. So it's that big. And my ex-husband's like almost 6 foot tall, so that's what, 7, 8 foot before you could touch the udders of the cow. So it's sitting out there on a highway in North or South Dakota. It was a kick.
And okay, so and you could blog about that, actually going and blogging about how you took a trip with the family, and your son was. That's a whole story.
It is. It's a whole story. So that's the joy about blogging, is that once you get that bridge and you know who your tribe is, you know what your subject matter is, you can make a bridge from anything. You can make a bridge from selling cat water, self-watering systems to business, right? You just need to know what your normal business is, and then you can blog about anything and make that bridge to what your group is, what you're trying to share, the messages you're sharing.
And they will eat it up, because once you've got an audience and your audience starts to grow, they're going to be waiting for you to put out something else. So
Right.
that's why the consistency comes in, because they're always waiting. And in the society that we're in, where it's like, instantaneous, if you don't continue to keep putting out content, they're going to find somebody else to look at.
Right, and
So,
let's think about what do people watch on TV these days, right? So people don't watch a lot of shows these days. What's most popular? Reality TV.
right. Or zombies
Or zombies.
and vampires.
Mhm. But reality TV is huge these days, and that's kind of what a blog is. It's your own little reality TV channel. So you can be a rock star on TV. Here it is. Can you imagine 20 years ago, to be in the publishing business, to do what we're doing right now, you had to have billion-dollar equipment or whatever. Now, any computer can blog on Google Hangouts. You can have your own channel on YouTube in a matter of 5 minutes. So we have everything we need. All we need now is you.
That's right. And to go with the reality TV analogy, you know what blogging is like? You know the show Naked and Afraid?
I've never seen that. Do I need to watch that?
It's on
I don't know
Sunday
if
night. The new season starts on Discovery Channel, Naked and Afraid. They take two people, a man and a woman, and they chuck them into the jungle or something, and they have to stay there and survive for like 3 weeks, like with nothing. They're like naked, and that's it.
I-
It's a pretty wild show.
And that's what blogging is?
Well, because what you're doing is you're bearing your soul and putting it out there and writing, and you're hoping or you're looking for a niche, and you know you're going to find it because there's going to be like-minded people, no matter who are going to want to read what you have to say. But when you first start, you're just throwing it out there, going, "Wow, this is what I'm interested in. I hope I'm going to find other people that are interested in." But don't worry about that because there are people who are going to be interested in it. So just do it. Don't be naked and afraid. Just throw it out there and do it.
But that is another nugget that you just said, because when you talk to people that have made it, right? When you talk to people like our mentors, Avram and Nikki,
Right.
people who are most successful, they do become naked and afraid. And if in fact in our organization we have our naked videos, right? It's a series of naked videos, and the whole point of that is that once you drop down that wall that you have in front of you and actually get naked in front of your people, in front of your customers, in front of your tribe, when you let them see the true you, when you let the true you come out, that's when people start following you, because now they get you. They don't want to see that persona, right? The person you are at work, that you act a certain way or you are a certain way. They don't want that person. They want that person who admits to crawling under the desk, or at least feeling like crawling under the desk, lying in a fetal position and sucking their thumb. That's the people, when you are brave enough to put that part of yourself out there, that's when you get your true following, right? Have you
That's
experienced that as well, Don?
that's real like the real self resonates with your audience. That's exactly true. And they don't want to see, you know, a game show host or car salesman, used car salesman, trying to sell you something. They want to see who you are, warts and all, and like just take you as the individual that you are, because what's what's better than just being who you are and saying what you think and what you feel and putting it out there. I mean, you're a real person. We're all real people, and we all just want to interact with each other on a real level. So,
Right, and I find that I interact with people more when they realize that I do have a persona, because I've been a leader for many, many years, and I have this persona, this take charge personality. I'm not afraid of anything, blah, 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 right? I go on there. But when I sit down and I have coffee with you and I share that story, that a lot of times, maybe even once a week, I feel like crawling under my desk and sucking my thumb in a fetal position. When I share that story with people, that's when people start, ah, maybe she's not so different than me. Because a lot of people feel like that every day, and even the most successful people you see feel like that every day. It's all a matter of what you do about it. Do I crawl under the desk? No. I get in front of the video and I blog anyway. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to share that you feel that way. It's all about what you do about it. So open up yourself to your people, right? Whether it's in writing or whether it's in video or hopefully in both, let your true self come out, because people want to know who you are. That's how you build relationships online, is letting your true self out. Have you let your true self out, Don?
yes, I've tried in many different ways, and one of the closest ones, it was the one where I talked about my experiences working in the bread factory when I had to make a decision after I got laid off about 10, 12 years ago, and publishing opportunities were few and far between. I made a decision that I needed to do something just to pay the bills, and ended up working in a bread factory for a little over a year. And, you know, you do what you have to do. And I still believe that. And I'll still do what I have to do, even to this day. If I have to go, work at Walmart or, go to Mickey D's and flip burgers and like keep my house, or whatever, I will do that. But then you've got opportunities where you can blog about it and you'll get more stories about it, and people will see that and it resonates with them because a lot of people have gone through adversity. And again, another one that I've done was about dogged determination
Right.
and staying positive. It's all about positivity and dogged determination in keeping your focus on where you want to go. And two of the examples that I used in my blog on dogged determination were during the Revolutionary War. General Washington was defeated like in 1775, 76 from Long Island all the way across through New Jersey, and we were losing bad. And Washington could have contacted the Continental Congress and said, "Hey, we're going to lose. Let's like just throw in the towel and see what we can do and get a better deal from the British government, and maybe they'll at least let us stay semi-autonomous." But he didn't do that. Instead, with his little army basically falling apart, he went across to the west side of the Delaware and then waited until Christmas, and the Hessian troops, mercenary troops that the British had brought in to fight for them, it was Christmas time in Trenton, and they decided, hey, we're going to have a big party, and we'll just, the Continentals are defeated, forget it, they're gone, let's party. And that's when Washington decided to attack. Went back across the Delaware, and the Battle of Trenton is huge in American history because it basically showed the world that we were not going to knuckle under, and we're facing the British Empire, this huge monstrous power in the world, and these 13 little colonies are going to fight back, and we're going to stick with it. And if you think about what challenges and what Washington was facing at that time, and the fate of the whole country depended on this guy, just this guy. I mean, that's dogged determination. To turn defeat into victory like that, unbelievable. And the other one was Winston Churchill. When Churchill was when the British Isles were by themselves in World War II, and the Nazis had taken control of Europe and France had fallen, and it looked like, and the British had actually lost all of their equipment in Battle of France and had to just basically get their men off the beaches at Dunkirk through little boats, and things were bad. The Luftwaffe was ready to like bomb them into submission, and they were like, no, you know what? We're not going to give up. We're going to fight back, and we don't care. We're going to fight you wherever you come ashore. We're going to take it to you. And they didn't knuckle under, and basically that saved Western civilization. The fact that the British were able to hold out, and the RAF was able to beat the Luftwaffe, and that's when Hitler decided to turn towards Russia instead of taking the British Isles. But that's dogged determination. And you know what? If you have dogged determination in your life and a positive attitude, the sky's the limit. Just take
Right.
it where you want to go.
And you're going to succeed, right? Because we never hear the stories about those people who quit.
Right. And Think and Grow Rich, beginning of the book, perfect example. It was in Colorado, too. Excellent geographic point here. There was a gold mine, and the original owners of the gold mine didn't hit a vein. So another investor came in and took over the gold mine and started to figure out where the vein of gold would be. Well, they hit gold, and this guy Darby got his whole family and friends and everyone to invest in the gold mine because they figured we're going to be trucking this stuff out. We're set. Well, what ended up happening was they had hit a very small um, tributary vein of the main vein. And Darby didn't bring in any experts on ore and production and mining. So what happened was they ended up losing everything, and he sold out because they only got a certain amount of gold out of the mine before it stopped. The new owners brought in an expert, and the expert said, okay, just dig 3 feet this way. And they dug 3 feet in the opposite direction, and they hit the main vein. And the people so 3 feet, what separated this guy Darby from incredible riches. He gave up. But by the same token, it taught him a lesson because he went on to be an insurance salesman who was $1 million insurance salesman. So in other words, he went from
No,
he
$1 million
lost
in like the 1930s or 20s.
1930s. Yes.
Right? So that's like $1 billion now.
Right. So in other words, he lost everything in the mine, but it taught him a lesson, never to give up. And then he went on to be $1 million insurance salesman and made his fortune that way later on.
Right. So we all have failures, right? Just like he did. Look what he could have had. And we would have never heard about him if he didn't take that lesson, put it under his belt, tighten his belt, and say, okay, that's in the past. I did that. Sucks to be me. Now what am I going to do about it?
Right.
And I think you had another little nugget there. And that's get some experts to help.
Right. Partner with people.
Right.
Mentors.
That's what Dawn and I are here for. Dawn, that's why I invited Dawn here with me today, because I go out and I seek experts, mentors and experts in areas where I might not be as successful as I'd like to be. Go out and seek your experts, and frankly, that's what I'm going to tell you here. If you have a business, if you're a publisher, if you want to have a book or whatever, you need to join with Dawn just like I did. If you want to grow your own business from home, you want to involve your family, whatever, grow your business with me. Reach out to me because that's what we're here for. We are sharing these nuggets with you because we've been there, we've done that, and we can help you make your business go faster and better than what it did for us because we're here to help you. We came at a time where there weren't a lot of mentors that would sit down and talk to you that could do what we're doing here today. So I really highly recommend that you decide to work with Dawn or work with me and take your business to the next level. Join up with us. It really is the best way to take your business to the next level. And guess what? You're not only going to get our expertise, but you're going to get the expertise of those mentors and those friends that we've joined with. We both have fabulous networks, right?
Yes, we do.
You have, and I joined with Dawn. For those of you who don't know, I found Dawn because I knew I wanted to write a book. And so I went to this book publishing thing because I think to be a great coach and a great speaker, you need a book. So I decided I needed a book. And I met Don. He doesn't even remember the first time we met, right? Because he was like, the book kahuna. And I was this person who just went to this meeting, right? I went to this meeting, and Don and I joined at that meeting. So go to events in your local area or go to events online. You will find those people that you need in your life, right? And so since that point in time, Dawn and I have forged and created a relationship, and my book's coming out in August, and Dawn's going to help me get it there, right?
Sounds good.
Not only that, Dawn, I'm not writing my book because that's who I am. I'm like the hub of information, right? I'm not writing my book. I'm writing my book, and I have 4 or 5 girlfriends that are writing their books at the same time, right? Not just one.
Right.
We have 5 new customers here today.
That sounds great. Everyone's got a story, and everyone should be able to get it out there. So I'm glad that you're taking the time and helping, all of these women to get their stories out, because that's what it's all about, and they're going to find a market for it.
Well, and not only that, but Dawn is mentoring my boys on getting their publishing out as well. Both of my boys, I have a 17-year-old and 15-year-old that want to write. So both of my boys, and they came up with this on their own self, right? They want to write a book. They're going to blog every week about their books and like maybe do a chapter or half a chapter every week on their blogs. So this is their big strategy, their big plan. They haven't put it into practice yet. So I'm working with them on that. But they have a strategy and they're going to work on it too. So it doesn't matter what your thoughts are, what your strategies are. If you take those baby steps every day, you can get whatever you're done achieved. So that's what we're here to talk to you about, is blogging every day. We've given you some real tidbits and nuggets of information, but the rest is up to you. Are you going to do it? Dawn, one biggest tip that you want to end with. What is the biggest, most important thing you've learned about blogging every day?
It's got to be consistent. The content has to be top notch, and you've got to have a passion for what you do. Because if you have that passion and it's coming from inside, people will see that, it'll resonate, and people will want to read more of what you have to say.
Awesome. That's awesome. So Dawn and I are going to load this video on, and we're going to put the links below. I have to say this now, Dawn, because I've gotten so many comments. People are watching us live, right, and we don't have the links below yet. They're like, I can't find your link. Okay, so you're going to have to wait for a few minutes, and when this video goes live, usually 24 hours for me to make sure that I have all my links below, but when we post this video, we'll have the links below. And if you're interested in joining with Dawn, if you're trying to publish your first book or your second book or your third book, if you're interested in working with Dawn in the publishing industry, his link will be below. If you're a woman in business and you want to learn to grow your business, then my link will be below, and you can join with us, and you can catapult your life and achieve your dreams in a much faster fashion if you join with us. So I invite you to click on the links below, find Dawn, find me, find someone, even if it's not us, find someone to be your mentor and to join with, and then catapult your business to the next level, catapult your dreams to the next level by joining with the people that you think can help you get there. Dawn, any last parting words?
All I have to say is, I'm so happy that I'm partnering with you, Leslie. I mean, your enthusiasm and your own passion for what you're doing it just comes through the screen. I mean, anyone out there who really wants to get to the next level, this is the person that you really want to be involved with, because she's taking it to the next level. So I would highly recommend just get together with Leslie and really go. Just take your rocket and go.
I like that. Take your rocket and go. Okay, so thank you for joining us on this version of the Saturday Sanctuary. The Saturday Sanctuary is our weekly program where every Saturday you can get the tidbits of information you need to grow and catapult your business to the next level. This week, my guest has been Dawn the Book Kahuna, and he knows everything about the publishing world. So we'll see you very soon, Dawn, right? I don't know what we're going to have you on, but very soon we're going to have you come and visit us again.
Well, thank you very much. I would love to come back and talk about publishing issues again.
All right. Thank you. We're going to go now. So thanks for joining Saturday Sanctuary. This is Leslie Lane Peabody, Ninjas in High Heels. Dream massively, live passionately, and then grow passively. See you next time. Bye.